I've been using the Beats Studio Buds every single day since I got them over a week ago, and overall they have really surprised me in multiple ways, and they're so good that I haven't picked up my AirPods Pro even once. With that, there are some limitations as well as one main issue that will be a deal breaker for many of you and cause you not to buy them or maybe to return them. And no, it is not the lack of the H1 chip features, but we'll cover that in just a bit. I want to start out by saying that these will likely be Beats' most popular product in years because of three specific reasons, and I think that they will sell like crazy. Beats has had kind of a bad rap recently, at least with the tech and audio crowd, because they were overpriced for what you get and the sound signature was way too bass heavy. Thankfully, the Studio Buds solve both of these issues, coming in at $149 at launch and likely even lower when you're watching this video. I'll go ahead and leave a link down in the description where you guys can get some great prices. These things are really competitive. Now sure, they aren't as cheap as off-brand earbuds, but compared to many new earbuds like Sony's $280 XM4s or Samsung's $200 Galaxy Buds Pro, and of course AirPods, $149 is a really great starting price for truly wireless earbuds from a name brand. It's actually kind of weird to see Apple slowly positioning Beats as a more budget brand compared to AirPods, but at the same time it makes sense to not be competing with themselves on the high end and also to stay relevant for Android users that can't benefit from iOS exclusive features. And as far as sound, while it is subjective, I think these sound fantastic. After over a week of normal listening and comparing side by side with others, I prefer these over all the previously mentioned high-end earbuds. Apple has done a great job toning down Beats' stereotypical sound into something that still has good bass, but is much more balanced. I personally like how AirPods Pro sound, but I do wish they had a bit more bass, and in certain songs, they tone down the highs, which can at times be too sharp. Well, that's pretty much what the Studio Buds provide, and like many others have said, these are the best sounding Beats earbuds ever, even better than the popular Powerbeats Pro, and probably the best sounding Beats headphones overall. Now compared to the new Sony XM4 earbuds, the bass is slightly lower, which is what most people end up EQing with those anyway, and even if you turn up the highs all the way up, they still aren't as clear compared to these Beats, so that's why I personally prefer these. I also like how the Galaxy Buds Pro sound, and those are better than the AirPods Pro, but the mids are actually more accurate with the Beats, and that's most apparent when you're listening to music like rock, where you have a lot of different instruments. Now that is probably where I am most impressed with these. The bass is there, and that makes drums and bass guitar sound powerful and really punchy, but at the same time it doesn't overpower other instruments and make the whole track just sound boomy. To be honest, the tuning that Beats did on these kind of reminded me of my AirPods Max. Now, no, they don't sound as good or as clear or as accurate, and the soundstage isn't anywhere near as big, but the EQ sounds similar, so it may be where Apple is heading as far as their signature sound. Overall, if sound quality is most important to you and you do enjoy bass, these things sound really good, especially for $150. Now let's talk about active noise cancellation, and this is one area that I really didn't expect Beats to perform like this, because overall, these do a much better job than I thought they would. Now the processor and the algorithm isn't as good as with the AirPods Pro, so in many cases, those will outperform these, especially if you have a proper seal, and especially if you're in areas where there's lots of voices and higher frequency sounds, but for low frequencies like HVAC noise and airplanes, these actually do a better job than my AirPods. The biggest difference comes in with very loud sounds. Now I always use my Pros when I mow the lawn or vacuum, so when I put in the Beats and I got to mowing, I was really surprised that they did a much better job and cut out a lot more of that noise than my AirPods Pro do. I think that's because the AirPods Pro have a vent which equalizes the pressure inside and outside of your ear canal, and that keeps your ear from feeling plugged, and it makes them really comfortable. Now this feature is amazing, but when it's very loud outside, those sounds end up leaking inside, and since the Beats don't have this vent, they keep the sound out much better, which really helps. And also because of that, sound leakage is almost non-existent even at full blast, which is great, whereas the AirPods Pro leak a lot more, and then of course the regular AirPods leak a ton. So with that, how is comfort? Well, while they're not as comfortable as the AirPods Pro, they are probably the second most comfortable earbuds for a few reasons. Now, Beats said that they redesigned the silicone tips to be more comfortable, and overall, the longest that I've worn them for is about 4 hours straight, and I didn't feel like I had to take them out yet, which is crazy. With Sony's, after about 2 hours, my ears were already aching. Now, a big reason why they are so comfortable is because they are so lightweight, coming in at 44% lighter than the XM4s. Along with that, they don't push against my ear anywhere because of how small they are, and with that, they also don't stick out very far. I'm personally a fan of the small stemless design, and I really like how clean they look. Each earbud has a physical button on each side that you use for controls, and this is more reliable than the ones with touch surfaces, but since you actually have to push down, you end up pushing the buds into your ear canal more each time you use the controls. Now, that may or not be a good thing for you, but for me it is a bit annoying, and I would prefer a touch surface. As far as battery life, it is not bad, but I did expect more. Now, most earbuds over-exaggerate the claims, and when I first heard of the 8-hour rated battery life, I was really excited. But that rating is only if you don't use active noise cancellation, but why wouldn't you if you paid the money for earbuds that have that feature? With active noise cancellation, you get 5 hours instead of 8, and the total charge with the case goes from 24 hours down to 15. Now, with that, I found them to be closer to the 4-hour battery life mark with active noise cancellation, and maybe that's because I do typically listen to them at full blast. And now, with all of the positives out of the way, let's get into the few negatives, and let's start out with by far the biggest one that will be a deal breaker for many of you, and that is the microphone quality. And this makes a difference in 2 separate areas. Before I tell you my personal experience, go ahead and take a listen to how they sound compared to AirPods Pro. This is the microphone quality that you can expect from the Beats Studio Buds in a room with some HVAC noise. And this is the microphone quality with Apple's AirPods Pro in a room that has a fair bit of HVAC noise. Yes, that is a big difference, but keep in mind that is just sitting right here in this room with only HVAC noise being constant and humming there. So this is basically one of the best case scenarios. The microphones in these are almost useless, and I'm not sure if that's because Beats decided to keep these as small and lightweight as possible or what, but in multiple conversations at my desk, I had people complain that it was hard to hear me. They couldn't understand. I ended up having to take them out and switch to my iPhone. And when I tried to use them while driving my truck, which is actually quieter inside than most cars, both my wife and my mom could barely understand me, where I have had no issues while wearing my AirPods Pro. So if you often take calls with your earbuds, I would not buy the Studio Buds, and because of this, transparency mode is also really bad. Now, it doesn't sound staticky like others can, but they don't bring in much sound at all, and clarity isn't good. So pretty much any headphones or earbuds that are over $100 are better with their transparency modes. My other complaint is the lack of wireless charging. I didn't realize how convenient it was to have that and use that with my AirPods Pro, and when I switched to these, I could definitely tell that it was a pain. Thankfully, Beats did switch over to USB again, so we have a USB Type-C port, and we have a lot of those type of cables around, and they also charge fairly quickly. The other thing that I have to mention is the lack of a W1 or H1 chip. Now, I understand that Beats is trying to market these to Android users, and that chip wouldn't do much for them, and these also do have Bluetooth 5.2, so latency is minimal, but if you're an iPhone user, you won't get any of the extra nice features like iCloud syncing and auto pairing to whichever device you're opening up and using, also the audio sharing or spatial audio features. They still get quick pairing without it, and hands-free Siri still works, so that is good, but announced messages and notifications doesn't. Now, my last annoyance is that there is no sensor in the earbud for them to auto pause when you take them out, possibly save costs or to keep the weight down. I typically just end up tapping on it and then pulling it out to pause, so it's not a huge issue, but it would have been nice to have, just like with wireless charging. Honestly, if Beats could have added the H1 chip and the wireless charging to these and say charge $50 more for a Pro version, I would gladly pay for it. But of course, then people would have even less reasons to pay the extra for the AirPods Pro, and some of those features wouldn't really do anything for Android Android users. But overall, I have to say that I really like the Beats Studio Buds. So far, I have not really been tempted to grab these other than when I had somebody call me. I just really enjoy the sound quality and then the extra active noise cancellation whenever I'm doing anything that's very loud. So if you're somebody that doesn't need the really good microphones and you don't need the extra iOS features that AirPods Pro or AirPods offer, I would say pick these up. You're likely gonna really enjoy them. And for 149 bucks, that's just a great price. And you know, by the time you're watching this video, it could be even lower. So like I said, I have links down in the video description if you guys wanna go ahead and check those out. So thank you guys for watching. Click that circle above to subscribe, and that will help us reach our goal of 1 million subscribers before the end of the year. That would be awesome. Check out one of those videos right over there. This has been Max, and I will see you in the next one.